So let's go ahead and let's get down to it. All right. So first off, the question I always get is, what type of money should I be using when it comes to certain things? So the certain type of money that you should be using is, first off, if you only have a couple $100, like let's say 200, 100. I mean, some people have came and hit me up and they got like $50. If you got money like that, you're not going to want to start gambling. I'm just going to be honest with you. You don't want to start gambling yet, because your unit size of what you're going to be betting is going to be pretty much useless. All right. Because let's say, for example, you have $100. If you're doing a 1% unit size on that, like look how low your unit size is, and you're not going to be able to move the needle at all. Right. You'll be betting $1. so I mean, you need a little bit of money. You need money to make money. That's just the way it goes. And that's why a lot of people parlay, right? Because if you only got like $100 or so, you're taking $20 and betting 5 teams to try to make 500-600 or something like that. So you got to kind of be realistic when it comes down to it, that if you don't have at least $1,000, because at least $1,000 is a good start. If you don't, what you need to do is you need to continuously save it up. You got to save it up. Whether it's, I've talked to some guy that he was starting with a $70 bankroll, and I told him, I was like, listen, if you're going to put money away every paycheck, just keep doing that. Don't even focus on betting or anything. Wait till you just save that money. Prove to yourself that you could save the money first rather than just, spending it. All right. Because just a little bit of money is not going to be able to move the needle. You're not going to be able to do much with it. It's going to cause you to get frustrated because you're not making a lot of money. Then it's going to cause you to parlay. So you're going to try to parlay a bunch of bets and whatnot, because then you're going to be like, I'm trying to, take $20 and I want to make 600, 700. So I have that bankroll. So it creates bad decisions. So my advice is, when you have, a couple $100 that you've saved, don't use it for sports betting. Just don't. Just keep saving it. If you were able to save that couple $100, well, guess what? You should be able to save that couple $100 again. And then you have 400, and then 6, and then 8, and then 1,000. Then you could kind of work it a little bit. For example, what I got on the screen right now, for a secondary source of income, you need 1,000 to 15,000. That's where I pretty much give an example in that range. The reason behind that is because your unit size. So if your unit size, you're doing, 1% unit sizes, you're going to be in that range of like that $10 to $300 range. All right. So for example, if you're in that $10 to $300 range, let's say that you can get 5 units or, 10 units per month. If you can get in that range, correlate that with your unit size and you can see how much money that's going to be. All right. So if you're betting $10, then you're getting 5 units. That's $50. 10 units, that's $100. That's still a secondary source of some type of income, because you could use $50 to $100 for something, whether it be a utility bill or something like that. So that's still considered that. Now on the high end here, like I have on the screen, if you're betting a $300 unit size and you hit 5 units, that's $1,500. You hit 10 units, that's $3,000. So you can definitely do something in that range of 1,000 to 15,000. If you don't have that, then you need to save your money. You have to save your money, guys. All right, because if you could save a couple $100 out of every paycheck to try to stack for your bankroll, and then you use that properly once you have that bankroll established, as long as you're doing the right things, you're not going to completely lose your bankrolls. You're not going to lose all of your money. So that's kind of like your nest egg of what you need. All right. Now let's get to main source of income. So if you're looking to, take it to a professional sports betting level and you want to be a professional sports bettor, you want this to do this as a mainstream of income. I always advise between 25,000 to 50,000. 25,000 to 50,000 is that range of where you can replace your income of what you get at a 9-to-5 job, for every week and every 2 weeks. Obviously, you got to be doing the right things and you got to be making the right decisions and you got to be making the right plays, obviously, right? You can't just guess and think that you're going to do that if you have that bankroll. But this is the starting point, because nobody can do it. I'm just going to be honest with you. Nobody can do it. And the reason why nobody can do it is because, first off, they won't have enough money saved. Because usually people that are saving like in the tens of thousands of dollars are putting that in like stocks and bonds and all that stuff. So usually they're putting it in that type of thing. They're not thinking about sports betting because they think it's gambling. So they're like, oh, I'm not putting that in a gambling fund. But to be real with you, stocks, all that stuff, that's all gambling anyway. It's all gambling. Everything is. Because nothing is a for sure thing. All right. But as a mainstream of income, 25,000 to 50,000, that's where you want to be at. If you're in any of these categories that I'm showing right now, and you guys want to learn how to take your betting to the next level, definitely go down below in the description and book a call. All right. So that way I could get you right and show you the right path to be able to get to your goal of what you want to get to. So if you have a $25,000 to $50,000 bankroll, unit size between $250 to $1,000. Now think of that correlate to 5 to 10 units in a monthly time frame. So if you're betting $1,000 and you get 5 units, that's $5 grand. $5,000 in a month, that's nothing to sneeze at, right? That could be a mainstream of income. 10 units at 1,000, that's $10,000 a month. That's obviously nothing to sneeze at again. So that's like right on that range. So the low end here is the 1% at 25,000. So the 1% at 25,000 is $250. You get 10 units on that, that's 2,500, 5 units or so, you can do the math on that one. That is kind of that verge of that secondary source getting into that mainstream. But like I said, you can have this stuff, but you have to have other things to go along with it. If you have this solid bankroll in the ranges that I'm showing you, you need some other stuff. All right, so first off, you need to be able to stay disciplined month to month. So disciplined month to month could seem like it sounds easy, right? It sounds like it's something that's very simple, but it's almost impossible for sports bettors, gamblers of all kinds. It's almost impossible because after just 1 or 2 days, if they lose, your average gambler is going crazy. They're just going to empty their bank account, empty their bankroll, chasing. That's what they're going to do. So that's what 99% of people do. That's why so few can actually even get past that point. But once you get past that point, you're able to stay disciplined and consistent with doing it every single day and doing it month to month, then you've passed your first goal. That's something that is very hard to do. A lot of people have a problem with that. They'll start something and then they don't finish it and they'll just give up. You got to be able to do it every single day. If you have a nice strategy that you have down to a T, obviously you got to play that every single day, because if you don't and you miss a day, well, you could have missed out on a day where you won, or you could have missed out on a day where you lost, but you don't know that. You can't predict those things. You can't predict if you're going to have a winning day or a losing day. If we could, then we'd all be millionaires off of sports betting, right? The best thing you could do is just stay consistent, set yourself up for the best opportunity to be able to do this every day and stay disciplined with it. Next thing is going to be the proper research that is necessary, obviously. You can't just guess on these games. You cannot just go with a gut feeling. Be like, oh, I feel like the Lakers are going to win tonight. I feel like they're solid. AD's not going to be stopped. Oh, that's my feeling, so I'm going to bet them. You can't do that. It has to be numbers. You have to look at odds. You got to look at trends. You have to look at where people are betting. You got to look at all that stuff. Because if you don't have the research and you're just guessing, well, then what's going to happen? Maybe you'll win for a week or two, but over the long run, you will probably lose. So doing the proper research is definitely important and is one of the most important things, if not the most important. The next thing I would suggest is you start with one sport. So if you start with one sport, you're not overwhelmed, obviously. There's not a whole bunch of stuff going on that you're trying to look at. Do more research than what you normally do, if you do any. Because some people, I'm telling you right now, about 90% of people, they don't do any research at all. None. They will not do any research on any games. They'll just go off of gut feelings and what they think is going to happen. So when you're doing actual research, you actually have a leg up on a lot of people. Now, the next thing, this is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing again, is learning to lose. If you can't take losses, you can't do this. You cannot bet on sports. You can't gamble. If you cannot take losses, then you cannot do it. It's just that simple. Because the mentality behind losing is, if you are not okay with it and you start chasing and you're chasing and chasing, you're losing money left and right. You can't do that. Think about teams, in games. Not every team wins every single day, right? They lose. So if that team and that coach can't handle losing, what's going to happen? They're just going to empty the tank out every game and be like, oh man, I got to just do whatever I can. And they're going to end up losing every game, right? No, those teams usually just stick to a plan. No matter if they win or lose, they continuously do that plan throughout the whole entire season. So same thing goes in sports betting. You got to just continue doing the same thing over and over. And eventually, obviously, you're going to change the tide there. If you're on a losing streak, it's going to switch eventually if you're doing the correct things and you're doing the right things. And even if you're guessing, I'm just going to be honest with you, even if you're guessing and you're on a losing streak, you're not going to lose forever. You're not going to always guess wrong. If you guessed 100% wrong, then it would be very easy for you to be a millionaire in sports betting, because you would just take your guesses and just bet the opposite and you'd win 100% of the time. So that is another thing that is key to sports betting, is your mentality. Make sure you have the right mentality and you are staying disciplined, you are staying consistent, you're doing it nonstop. Unless you want to just have fun with it. If you're just somebody that wants to occasionally bet on some games here and there and you just want to have fun, that's on you. All right. But if you want to take it serious and take it to the next level, then you have to follow what I'm teaching you here. As always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.